Our guest today is David Newman, author of Do It Marketing, 77 Instant Action Ideas to Boost Sales, Maximize Profit, and Crush the Competition. Thanks for being here, David.
No, it's a pleasure. I'm glad to be here, Reese. Thank you for having me.
So I was reading the book, and one of the things that I thought was interesting about it, I think small business people are completely inundated with the whole social media marketing stuff. It's like everywhere. But I think what's not so common is the stuff, especially that you have starting at the beginning, like you do, and going through the messaging part of it, and how to talk more with the customer in mind. And so, what are some of the things that you see that are like pervasive mistakes that small business owners are making?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's endless. So I think you put your finger on something really, really important, which is we absolutely have to know who we're talking to. So, the marketing lingo for this is buyer persona, your buyer persona marketing. Who's your target customer? Who's your target client? So many times I get questions because as a marketing speaker, as a marketing coach, people say, well, what's a good headline? What should I put at the top of my sales letter? What's a good title for this new service or this new product that we're launching? I say, I don't know. I don't know. And you don't know until you understand who's buying it, what are their urgent, pervasive, expensive problems, how are you a faster, smarter, better solution to solve those urgent, pervasive, expensive problems. And you have to do a lot of thinking. I see so many business owners, Reese, that put the strategic cart before the tactical horse, or vice versa. They put the tactical cart behind the strategic horse. Anyway, they try and do tactics before they get to the strategy. And I call this tactic-itis, and this is why people are overwhelmed. They say, okay, oh my gosh, I got to market on Facebook. I got to market on Twitter. I got to market on LinkedIn. I got to market on my blog. I got to have opt-in pages, email marketing, list building, online marketing, offline marketing, sales letters, postcards, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, hold on. Have you decided who specifically you're trying to reach? No, because that's too hard. That's not sexy. Have you decided what particular points of pain and gap and problem and if you're the puzzle, what's the missing piece that you and your company are brilliant at solving? Oh, I don't know, but I know that I have to do it on Twitter. I mean, it's crazy. It really is crazy. So people need to, number one, slow down, take a deep breath. You really have to figure out a couple of key strategies. And the first part of the Do It Marketing book is all about your business model, your revenue model, and your delivery model. So who are we selling? What are we selling? How are we selling it? How are we making money at it? And again, I've done this, Reese, with even experienced business owners, folks that have been running their business for 10, 15, 20 years, and they're at a pivotal point or they need to rebrand or refresh their marketing. I say, you know what? Clean slate. Let's pretend it's a clean slate. You've got nothing, no website, no customers, no clients, no messaging. What would you say today? What would you offer today? What is, on a clean slate, based on what you know now about your target clients and customers, what are they really buying when they buy from you? And then everything flows from that. So that's where the overwhelm comes from, is that we haven't done some of that basic thinking and some of that basic strategizing, but we're always grabbing at the tactics, and that's crazy making.
I think one of the issues that people run into too is they don't want to let go of certain parts of their business, and they're trying to be too many things to too many people. So they're not focused on their customers.
Absolutely. And I think Bill Cosby said that I don't know what the key to success is, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody.
Right.
So if you think that your small business, your micro business, your professional services business, whatever it is you have, if you think, oh, this is great for everybody. I work with a lot of consultants and independent professionals, and they say, oh, everybody needs what I do. They might be a financial planner. They might be some, coach of some kind, consultant of some kind. every company needs what we do. I say, okay, let's say that's true. I'll give that to you.
Someone who sells pens, for instance.
Someone who sells pen. Everyone needs a good promotional pen with their name on it. I say, okay, stop right there. I'm going to give that to you. It's wrong. I'm going to give it to you anyway. Who needs it the most? Who needs it the most? I'll give you an example. So I have a local client here in Philadelphia where I live, and she's in a marketing coaching kind of relationship. Health and wellness is her thing. And you might think, well, who doesn't need health and wellness? The universe, everyone needs to, health and wellness. And her tagline was, look good and feel great. I said, okay, well, who doesn't want to look good and feel great? Can everyone use that message? Sure. Who needs it the most? And I had her really think hard about this. Who needs it the most? Who's got the biggest gap? Who's got the most distance between where they are and where they want to be with look great, look good and feel great? Mm-hmm. She said, well, cancer patients. Mm. And I said, say that again. She says, cancer patients. Cancer patients feel terrible and they look worse, right? Chemotherapy, you lose all your hair, you turn green because of all the chemicals in your body, the radiation. I said, imagine if you were the look good, feel great expert for cancer patients, cancer survivors, folks going through cancer treatment. Imagine the pharmaceutical companies, the hospitals, the healthcare systems that could sponsor you and give you money and back your movement, because that's the other thing I talk about in the Do It Marketing book, is that you're not running a company. You really need to think of yourself as starting a movement. Her movement is, with cancer patients, you should look good and feel great even during cancer therapy, even during radiation and chemotherapy. Think of the PR benefit. Think of the sound bites. Think of the spreadability. Think of the shareability of that message, right? Who doesn't have someone whose life was touched by cancer, friend, right, relative, mom, dad, cousin, brother, whatever? She's the only person. There's a million health and wellness gurus. There's a million, cosmetics, look good, fitness, exercise, nutrition. There's a million of those people. There's one person doing it for cancer patients. And that's what I'm talking about by find your message, focus on your strategy. That's going to be your breakthrough. That's going to help you go big in your business.
Well, and you could I think business owners like she could deliver more to those people by focusing on their specific needs.
Oh, absolutely. Specificity wins the sale. Absolutely right.
Even they could pick up any book on health and wellness, might tell them exactly the same thing, but she could, now that she's thinking about it, she can address their specific needs.
Exactly right.
So one of the things I like in the book is you talk about languaging and how you speak to your customer. And so you have this thing called the coffee test in there. I'd like for you to share that.
Sure. Well, so this is about what you say on your website, what you say in your promotional materials, your sales letters, anything that markets and promotes your business. The coffee test is this. You're going out with a friend. Could be a prospect, could not be a prospect. Just say, hey, Reese, what are you working on? Tell me a little bit more about your business. We might have just met at a networking event. You look like an interesting guy. I look like an interesting guy. We're having coffee. If you were to sit down with someone face to face over a cup of coffee, and if you could not say out loud what's on your website because you'd make yourself laugh, right? Then it's not good marketing language. So what do I mean? We're having coffee. And you say, so, David, what do you do? I say, well, Reese, I'm glad you asked. I run a full-service marketing agency with 17 people. We've been around since 1982. We're a full-service firm, and we do marketing, branding, business development, blogging, PR. So, at this point, I'm already laughing. I'm like going, oh, my God, I can't say that out loud. That would be ridiculous to say to a friend over a cup of coffee, right? So if you look at my website, right, I say it's marketing for smart people. Would I say that to you over a cup of coffee? Yes, I would. You'd probably say, David, what is marketing for smart people? I say, well, I work with executives and entrepreneurs who want to position themselves as thought leaders and generate more business and get more clients and make more money. And I say that very naturally, very conversationally, very organically. That's what's on my website. So the challenge is, look at what's on your website for your smaller solo business. What are you saying in the headlines, in the body copy, on the homepage, on the services page, on the products page? Is that natural, organic, human-to-human language, or is it marketing speak, or is it jargon or gobbledygook or just nonsense? Because that's going to put distance. It's going to put distance between you and your prospect, and what you want is you want to invite them in. Just like if you and I were having coffee, you would say something organic, conversational, natural, that would attract me towards your business, not repel me with a whole bunch of jargon and gobbledygook. And so as soon as people say this, oh my gosh, my homepage is all wrong. My products and services page is all wrong. All I have on my website, all I have on my one sheets, all I have on my sales pages is marketing gobbledygook. Great chance to turn it around. So if it fails the coffee test, take it off the website, change your sales letter, change your LinkedIn, change wherever that language shows up. If you wouldn't say it face to face, it doesn't belong in your marketing language bank.
Yeah, you see this. You see what you're talking about on social media all the time. You see the person they're doing the social media equivalent of running around and handing out their business cards.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's a bit off-putting for folks.
Yeah, very much so.
So a lot of what you talk about developing like thought leadership and stuff like this, it's great for speakers, but how does a small business person, say in a trade like a carpenter, a plumber or stuff, apply that to their business? I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but
Oh, no. Well, actually, let me correct your assumption. Thought leadership is great for speakers, but this is not a book for speakers. Thought leadership is great for small business owners. So I'll give you a quick example. Now, this is an example not from my book, but from another great book that people might want to read, Utility, which is the word Y-O-U, utility, by my friend Jay Baer. He talks about a pool company, swimming pool, in-ground installation. You'd think, wow, that's like a Johnny Numbnuts kind of business. That's guys digging holes, pouring concrete, building pools. This company was on the brink of bankruptcy. They had no other alternative except, hey, we got to turn on some more leads from our website. Our website's our best hope. How do we get more leads off the website? What this pool company owner did, very simple, and Jay talks about this in his book. Take every single question that you've ever been asked as a pool installer, as a pool expert, and answer it on your website. Answer it in blogs, answer it in videos, answer it in short articles, answer it in tip sheets. He started doing this, and no search engine optimization, just being massively helpful to people who were looking to put in an in-ground pool. Web traffic went up, leads went up, business started to come in, and now it's a super successful, mega, multi-million-dollar company, much, much bigger than it was before it hit this dip and was struggling. So this is true, and I've done work with, as a speaker, and you can see I've got my speaker, my conference badges here behind me just as background, just so happens. So Terminix, right? The exterminator company, killing bugs. You'd think, well, that's thought leadership is not for them. Yes, it is. Expel is one of my clients, which is paint protection film and clear bras that go on the front of your Porsches and BMWs and Ferraris, right? How can those guys become experts in protecting your vehicle, showing off your vehicle, the pride and joy of your car collection? You don't want chips and road rash and pings and so forth. They have videos, they have blogs, they have all kinds of fabulous things. Paving company, so EP Henry and pavers and things like that, like hardscaping.
Right.
I've got some clients in the hardscaping industry. So this is not just for speakers and consultants and guys that dress like me and write books and book promo. Here's the book. So seriously, this is for any kind of business. You can be in a service business, you can be in a product business, you can be in really any sort of blue collar, white collar, dealer, distributor, franchisee. This is vital for everyone's success because you know what? Increasingly now, everybody's in a commodity business. And whatever it is you sell, whatever product, services, programs, packages, whatever it is, there's a million guys like you and me. I mean, Reese, I love you. There's a million guys like you. I love myself. There's a million guys like me. Believe it or not, this is not the only marketing book available at your local Barnes & Noble, right? However, what's special? What's unique? What is useful? What is helpful? Why is it worth following Reese? Why is it worth following David and reading my blog and looking at my videos, even if you don't buy anything? So here's the other thing that I talk about partly in the book, is about Happy Meal marketing. Happy Meal marketing is about, is your marketing itself nutritious? So people that buy from us, that buy our products and buy our services, they get a beautiful 7-course meal, no question. But even people that don't buy should get a Happy Meal. So is there value in your marketing material? Is there value just on your website? Is there value in your free downloads? Is there value in your blog? That even if they're not the end recipient or the end customer, they say, wow, I don't need this product or service right now, but you got to go check out David Newman's blog. You got to see this other guy's videos. You got to download this other person's ebook, because it's just content rich and so valuable and so useful and so helpful.
I see so many people, especially if they're selling information, trying to withhold stuff because they're worried if they don't. And you cover this in the book. If they're worried if they give out their secrets, nobody will do their courses or buy their book or whatever.
That's right.
And it just seems like, shouldn't you give your best stuff? Everybody will always assume you have more.
Right. Exactly. Well, and let's go back to what you said about the website and about, is this just for speakers and authors and consultants? And the answer is no. So an accountant could just have all kinds of do-it-yourself accounting and bookkeeping tips. Guess what? The more you lay out how to do it yourself, the pool guy has do-it-yourself pool installation. I don't want to do that. Most of your customers don't want to do that. How come Home Depot makes a ton of money doing contracting, installations they'll put in your garage door? Home Depot teaches free classes in the store of how to do it yourself. People go, oh my gosh, that's what it takes to do it myself? Forget about it. I'm hiring Home Depot. So it's almost like the more you educate and the more you enable people to do it themselves and you lay out the exact steps of how they can do it themselves, number one, the more they think you're smart. Number two, the less they want to do it themselves. Number three, the more you position yourself as the go-to resource to get that done. Real quick example. This back in the 1960s, this was revolutionary. This was like heads were popping off. Ogilvy, which is the world's biggest advertising agency at that time, they took out a series of full-page ads in the New York Times, and they said, from Ogilvy, how we create advertising. And it was a full-page ad. It was like a little mini book almost of their advertising philosophy, their strategies, their tactics, what they do, how they do it. People thought they were insane. Like, oh my gosh, you're teaching people how to do their own advertising without spending millions of dollars on an advertising agency? Guess what? Do you think their business went up or went down once that series of ads went out?
I bet it went up. And and they also broke all the rules about writing too much copy.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So yes, you're right. That's a whole case study in and of itself.
Yeah, if your copy is something people want to read, they'll read it.
People behind the curtain, the more secret sauce you share, the more money you will make. And this applies to any kind of small business.
For the solopreneur, the person who's working on their own, how much time should they really spend doing their marketing? I know that's a broad question, but with all the social media, there's so much to do. It's so easy to get overwhelmed. And you're trying to write content and do brain dumps of everything you know. How much time should be invested, you think, in a week?
Well, it definitely, the myth is, oh, it's easy, it doesn't take a lot of time. You know what? It does take some time. So I would also separate marketing and selling, because marketing and selling, it's like hunting and farming. And if you do too much farming, all you have is vegetables and no meat. You do too much hunting, all you have is meat and no vegetables. It's a balance. So I would say at least an hour a day on a very focused subset of marketing activities that you find easy, effortless, and enjoyable. And then another hour a day on pure business development, outbound sales activity. I love inbound marketing. I love blogs, I love social media, I love websites, I love email marketing, but you know what? Really, nothing happens until you pick up the phone. And it's not to a stranger, because you've got leads, you've got a following, you've got people that are engaged with you and connected with you. But at some point, if a sale is to be made, at some point you have to have that human-to-human, voice-to-voice, or face-to-face contact. And so don't shy away from that. There's a whole section in the book, Reese, as you know, called the S word. And the S word is sales or selling. Because so many small and micro business owners and solopreneurs, they go, oh, I love what I'm doing. I love my clients and customers. I just don't like the sales part. And my question I always say in my seminars and in my coaching is, are you willing to do what you have to do so that you get to do what you want to do? And selling is part of what you have to do so that you get to do what you want to do, which is work with your fabulous clients and customers, deliver the nuts and bolts of your service or your product or your program. And people who are afraid of sales are missing the boat, because marketing is not enough, sales is not enough. It has to be a blend. So I'd say 2 hours a day. The good news is the marketing can happen anytime. If you get up at 5 a.m., you work out, you exercise, you can do your marketing tasks at 5 a.m. The only thing that has to happen in real time, over the phone, during business hours, in person, networking events, what have you, is really the selling or the business development activity. But you can do marketing 24/7. And so just an hour a day will get you miles and miles ahead. Oh, no, true. I mean, if you're selling your expertise, and again, this is where, my folks who are, let's say, an IT consultant, HR consultant, accountant, some other kind of professional services provider, a lot of your day-to-day activities have a marketing component to them. So you write, that's marketing. When you're on a client call, there's probably some fuel for a blog, taking out the names and taking out the specifics of that situation, but, write up that case study as a blog post. So you're doing service delivery on the phone with your client, and then you're saying, wow, there's 3 great points that I make to all my clients. Let me write a quick 500-word blog. So really, you have to think about, how can I source even more marketing material from delivering my professional services or my expertise? And as soon as you start doing that, your collection buckets will fill, because it's endless.
Have you seen a number? I mean, I'm always looking for some metric, but when as people grow their businesses and they add one employee and another employee, which number of employee should be that full-time marketing person?
Wow. Well, that's a tough question. I believe in simplify, eliminate, delegate, and outsource as a productivity mantra. So, you can hire a full-time quote-unquote person on day one. They're just not an employee. They're a subcontractor. They're an outsourced person. They're in the Philippines. They're wherever. And they're doing your blog. They're doing your social media. They're creating your little graphic, pull quotes, and who knows what they're doing. I don't think you ever have to hire a full-time marketing person unless you want to, if it makes economic sense. So, marketing is a full-time job, whether it's marketing that you personally spend your time and attention on, that's great. But I think having a full-time marketing function through a virtual assistant, through an intern, through some low-cost offshore resource, high quality but low cost, is vital. Especially, the folks that say to me, David, I don't have time for marketing. I say, wow, you're in deep, deep trouble. So you may want to rethink that. You personally might not have time for marketing, but marketing has to happen in your business. So how do you delegate or outsource that to someone that can do it? And then your marketing function is separate from your personal time, attention, and presence.
Yeah. So, and if you apply your 1 hour concept before, if that hour was spent organizing work for someone else, you could amplify your effectiveness.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Is people say, oh, well, outsourcing takes time. Yes, it's a one-time investment that pays off over and over and over again. So don't shortchange that delegation time and that training time for your marketing intern, your assistant, your virtual assistant. train them once, and then they can do that task over and over and over again, and that's where you get the leverage.
Terrific. I want to thank you for taking your time to get on this Skype call with us.
My pleasure, Reese. And there's a ton of free resources. By the way, speaking of Happy Meal marketing, if people want to pop over to doitmarketing.com, there's a blog, there's downloads, there's a ton of freebies tied to the book, and it's all free. Enjoy.
Okay, and the book itself is a great read. So I enjoyed it. I read zipped through most of it last night. I started it last week. So.
And it makes great bathroom reading. That's the biggest compliment that I've gotten so far. It's like, oh, it's, because you can pick it up, start anywhere, and get some great value right out of the gate. So, hey, if you read it sitting down, that's okay too.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you so much.
Glad to be here, Reese. Thanks.